Hello, welcome to episode 19 of the Between Two Tales podcast. My name is Kevin. I'm joined by my co-host Dave. Appreciate all the people are tuning back in and all our new subscribers. Welcome to the fam. For all the new people out there, Dave, why don't you catch them up on what we do here?
What is it that we do here? I remember. So, for all of you who are new, what you're about to witness is a full story outline, beginning to ending, in an hour and a half. And what you're going to see on Kevin's screen in a moment is he's going to generate 5 random words. With those 5 random words, we're going to come up with this story. We need to integrate it in some way. It might be the name of something someone uses, the theme, yada. But we have to use those words in a way that connects with the story. Why are we doing this? We're showing everyone that you can come up with a story with just random words, any story, random words, and you can do this too. And, Kevin said we're on episode 19. So that means we have 18 stories already that we didn't preconceive of. You watched us do it. If you haven't seen it because you're new, go back and watch other episodes. But you watched us create these stories on the fly. And it's really just a testament to what can be done when you get out of your own way and just say, hey, for 90 minutes here, I'm just going to come up with a story. And it may work, it may not. And that's okay. But just come up with something. And you'll be surprised that every time you do it, how good it gets. And now at the end, so once our story is created and we read it back to you, Kevin, if you want to share what we do.
That's right. So we're going to compare our story to an AI-generated story. We're going to use ChatGPT, give it the same prompts and words and themes that we have, just to level the playing field. And we're going to see how good the AI can come up with a story compared to ours. So far, hasn't been able to hold a candle to good old human creativity just yet, but it is getting a bit better. So we'll see what it comes up with today. So without further ado, let's generate some words and get cracking.
All right, let me get our timer ready. Kevin, I have to ask, are we doing the pictures?
Yeah, let's generate 2 pictures. So recently, we've been generating 2 random images to go along with our stories. I think all we've generated so far are like food pictures.
Yeah.
Which, hopefully we get something more interesting today. So,
yeah, what was the first one? I think lemon and lime.
Lemon, lime. I think we got a pomegranate one time. And then we got that weird landscape.
Germany.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So let's first start with our word. Twilight, grimace, physical, sentiment, and nervous. Twilight, grimace. Someone's about to get hurt.
That's right.
Sentiment, nervous. Interesting. All right. Now, let's grab some images.
Yeah.
You know what? Maybe to stop itself from making food.
No food.
No. Let's just generate one, see what comes up.
All right.
So we have a green field with a woman. So we have maybe our main character.
Okay.
Green looks like a park, hiking trail.
Yeah, definitely a hiking trail. And it kind of looks like somewhere, it kind of reminds me of somewhere northeastern with the trees and the foliage. It's like fall.
Yeah, hiking trail. There's a woman. Okay, let's do another one.
Oh boy. Skydiving.
Paragliding.
Even
worse. Even worse. At least in skydiving, you have someone. He's flying off on your own here, wherever you land.
Paragliding in the mountains. We might be able to combine that.
So it looked like that woman was on the trail to come up here to go paragliding.
I got it, Kevin. And by the way, the timer has started. But here's the thing. We have nervous, sentiment, physical, grimace, Twilight. A person went paragliding at Twilight, realized they're going in for a fall, they're gliding down, they can't, they're losing control. They make a grimace face as they realize they're about to be in extreme physical pain. And then this woman so happens to be hiking, and her sentiment towards this is sadness as this man's about to end himself. She's nervous. Her sentiment is nervousness and sadness as he's about to end himself, blah, blah, blah. So there you have a little moment snapshot. This might be a love story. It might be a story of survival. It could be a story of, you ever seen the movie, I'm blanking. Oh boy. Misery?
I've not. Doesn't ring a bell.
Misery, pretty much, it's about a writer who, for whatever reason, is driving a Mustang in the snow, but which, not very smart. But it's about a writer who crashes over the side of a mountaintop because of heavy snowfall, like a blizzard. And he's saved, pulled from his wreckage, bandaged, and brought back to, or taken care of by a woman who loves his books. He's a writer, right? Loves his books. Comes to find out she's a little twisted and sick in the head. And she's pretty much trying to keep him there, keep him prisoner. She comes to find out that he's killing off her beloved character in his last book for the series. She gets pissy about it and makes him burn that copy or whatever, and then tells him he has to write a new copy, and he's not allowed to leave until he writes it. He goes on to, for all of you who haven't watched this, hey, it's an old film. I mean, I don't feel bad. I'm going to spoil it. He goes on to write up this book. She loves it. And he decides at that point to make his escape. It's a thriller, horror type film because, more thriller on the thriller side, but she's crazy, breaks his feet because he's like, he's trying to escape. So the whole story for him, at least, takes place in a bedroom that she put like a hospital bed in or something like that. And she's taking care of him, but like kind of keeping him weakened so that way he can't leave. Her favorite writer that she idolizes can't leave her now, has to love her. And he just wants to get out of there. So
that is hilarious.
Oh, and because it's such an old film, like it's not, I don't really think it's scary or anything like that, but it's good. It is, I think it's a little bit funnier than it was meant to be, just because the time difference and how many years have gone by since that film came out. But, yeah, it's a good film. And so this might be a love film. It might be a twisted love film. It might be a survival film. Man's out in the woods, cocaine bear comes out, tries to come get him after he...
Yeah, I was thinking, when I saw a guy paragliding and Grimace physical, I was thinking about that story. Was it like 96 hours or something?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of, yeah.
That's a pretty gruesome story.
Yeah.
Same thing could happen to this guy here.
Yeah. He can be surrounded by a pack of wolves.
Yeah.
And he has to survive. There's a Liam Neeson story where his plane, I think it's a plane, crashes somewhere where it's snowing or something like this.
Yeah. It's called Gray, I think.
Yeah. And a bunch of wolves try to hunt him down.
Yeah, that's like the last scene, right? He's like on the edge of the cliff with the wolves. Yeah. Also, that scene in The Revenant when Leonardo DiCaprio gets jumped by the bear.
Yeah.
He can land in the middle of the woods. Cocaine bear comes out, slices him up. He fends off the cocaine bear, but he's severely injured. Has to get out somehow.
Yeah. So basically, this paraglider can glide into danger, into these mountains or whatever, into the trees. Gets hurt. Probably gets hurt from the original crash, so he can't move that quick and whatever. Bear comes in and eats him, but he somehow turns into a zombie. Then this hiker comes along. Now I'm playing. He gets hurt, can get hurt even more. This hiker woman comes along, finds him, but they kind of get lost, and she needs to help get him out of there. Bad things can happen to her too, but it's just a survival story between the two. And whether they make it out or not, we'll find out. And what's hunting them? It might be a mountain lion, man. I mean, those things stalk. There's so many stories of mountain lions killing people or attacking people. Yeah.
Yeah. Or maybe this can turn into one of those supernatural films. He's paragliding over a haunted forest, lands.
Okay.
He lands in the forest. No, it's like Blair Witch Project, seeing things. There's a witch doctor named Dave, casted spells.
Got a supernatural for that sounds a little. Maybe it's a combination here. That supernatural forest idea is pretty cool. You know. Oh, okay. Hold up. So you know how there's the what do they call it, the Bermuda Triangle, where
Yeah.
where the planes supposedly are downed, right? So maybe there's like this version of supernatural activity over this part of the forest or something like this, and it causes him to be pulled down, and that's just like the beginning of the supernatural things that he'll run into. Are you talking like of potentially having swamp people?
Swamp people.
This man said a witch doctor. I don't know why I envisioned swamp people.
There could be legit physical threats, or maybe there's just two ways we could do it. We could put like cannibals or whatever in the forest.
Okay.
That could be one. Or now here's a twist. This woman, let's just say she's the paraglider. This route. He's going up to a place to paraglide. Maybe
they try to marry her off. Timmy, you now have a wife.
Maybe she's like a horrible person or something. I don't know. Maybe she's an assassin or something, and she goes in this forest. It's supernatural. She's getting haunted by all the crimes that she's done in the past or something. I don't know. It'd be more of like a psychological thriller thing.
Yeah.
While the other,
it's more of a physical.
They gotta run from cannibals. That might be fun. Well, let's say a group of them go paragliding together.
Nah. Well, yeah, sure. But they take her back, and there's other folks from this paragliding trip they're in cages, and she sees their fate roasted over fire like a suckling pig or something. I don't know. And she's like, I can't let that happen to me. But yeah, maybe she should be with somebody. And
a gust of wind just blows them all off trail, and they land in different parts of the forest. So maybe she sees her friend as a skeleton because they already ate her. There's a show you have to watch. It's called From. I think I told you about it before. But basically, all these people end up in this one town that you can't get out of. Like every time you try to exit, it just ends up circling you back to the same town. And at night, these monsters come out and try to eat you. And these people just gotta get inside their house before nighttime comes. And the monsters can't come inside their house because they have these talismans that they found. And they string them up by the door. But the monsters will try to trick you. Like they'll disguise as like a beautiful woman or an old lady trying to like trick you. Like I think in the first episode, this monster pretended she was this little girl's grandma.
Yeah.
And the little girl messed up and opened the window for it to come in.
And ate her.
And ate her. Yeah.
So what do you want to pull from? What are you thinking of pulling from that?
Maybe it's like, I don't know, maybe it's like a forest that they can't get out of.
Yeah, well, that's the supernatural part of it, right? Or at least it could be.
Yeah.
Forest you, oh man, that's terrible. Forest you can't escape from.
Like when
leads you back to
the same place. Like it's a never-ending loop.
So let's just discuss, because so if we make a horror.
Wait, isn't that like isn't that the Twilight Zone? You go down a road and it keeps bringing you back to the same place. Isn't that what the Twilight Zone was about? The old show?
I don't think I'm not gonna lie. I have no idea. I really wasn't watching Twilight Zone because back then, I was like, man, this is too scary for me. But what I was gonna say was, since this is like a horror thriller type deal, each event, when we put this thing together, like we really have to rely on the last event to kind of push and propel it forward. Like there's no skipping because the details kind of matter. Not kind of, they do matter. Now, here's my question. With something like this, we should probably already discuss the ending. Because we need to know what we're marching to. And I bring it up again because, the forest that is a never-ending loop. So part of this discussion that we need to figure out, is there a way to escape this loop? And if so, then we need to figure out what that is. And then that kind of leads to an ending, or it could. But do they, or one person escape this endless loop, and how do they do that? And then we have to work backwards from there and build it in.
You know what's funny in the show From, at the season ending, the guy actually goes into the forest to see if he can find an escape to this town. He runs into other stuff like giant spiders. Well, I think it's a giant spider, but like there's spider webs everywhere, so what else could it be? But there's like other stuff in the forest outside of these monsters trying to eat them. So, but we don't know yet. We gotta find out in season 2 if he actually finds an escape. She could escape.
So
what would be the escape?
Looks so like we have to find something that is a portal or disrupts this endless loop. Maybe, okay, here's an idea. Maybe if you can bring one of these cannibals, so maybe the cannibals have the power to escape. And maybe it's because they have these markings on them, you know, maybe a tattoo, or maybe it's a necklace or some kind of thing. But they're able to walk in and out. So that's one bit of understanding and learning of like, hey, they can leave. And then maybe she befriends one of them. Maybe she steals something from one of them. Maybe she gives herself these markings. And then that helps her get past, you know, this barrier. On the other side of the barrier, maybe there's more problems. Like she gets on the other side and there's nothing but the other cannibals waiting for her. But maybe all the cannibals are inside this thing, and it's like the food is brought to them, and maybe they don't have to escape. But you know, maybe she comes across someone who's been in this predicament, and like a shaman, and they, she comes across in a cave or something like this, and then this person tries to help them, but really only she's able to get away. And then this person is able to walk in and out of the barrier. Yeah, you have to pray to the forest triangle.
What would be a cool way to escape a never-ending loop is the question. Without it being too corny, just walking out.
Or maybe, maybe it's like the end of, it's the journey that no one takes because it seems futile, like jumping off of a water that looks so, this thing is massive. It looks like, if you jump over the side, you're not going to survive at the end of it, but you need to do it in order to get it out.
It's like a Niagara Falls.
That's what I'm thinking, yeah.
So while she's escaping these cannibals, they get her to the edge, and she jumps, and she pops up on that hiking trail.
And maybe part of it is just like, she sees, maybe when we get to that part, she doesn't even know that's going to save her. She just thinks, I'd rather die this way
than get eaten. Yeah.
Than get eaten. And it's actually the only way out to her freedom.
Yeah. And then we can, we don't really have to say what happens after she hops up on the hiking trail. Right. She just does.
Yeah. For a story like this, you don't have to say nothing.
She just hops up. She just happens to be in a riverbed. There's a hiking trail there.
Yeah.
And so she's the green fields. She's like, oh.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. All right. What's a real definition of Twilight? It's not like a time of day before midnight or something. Soft glowing light from the light sky when the sun is just below the horizon.
Yeah. I think there's even different types of.
In a period or state of obscurity, ambiguity, or gradual decline.
Yeah, there's different types of twilight, if I'm not mistaken. Like there's civil twilight, nearest to the horizon, nautical twilight.
I think the easiest one is to use, what the day looks like. She's trapped there. It's becoming twilight, and she hears the cannibals roaring, screaming.
It's time to eat. They're doing some kind of dance. Okay. All right. So we got let's throw in main mission, escape haunted forest, escape cannibal forest.
Escape inescapable forest filled with cannibals.
Obstacle, cannibals.
And forest that keeps looping you.
Animals and looping forest. All right. Now we need some characters here. So sound like we kind of had two. male. She comes in with her male friend or boyfriend or something.
Maybe a group of
2
4.
girls, whatever. A whole group. Oh man, these Cannibals gonna eat well, bro. Okay, so
I think we should have a group of 4, and one of them dies right away, and they kind of scavenge his stuff for survival. Like the dude had a knife or something.
yeah, this is actually a bachelorette party, and no one's getting married now. Okay, so we'll say main character survival.
The girl
Is
Greta, Stacy,
Misty Manning,
Misty Manning,
Jessica Fields. Just arrived in the field. Haven. That's interesting. Haven, like a safe haven, a sanctuary. But she's no sanctuary now.
All right, her name would be Haven. Haven.
With first name.
Side characters. We got Bob.
I got another girl up in here.
Bob, Dave,
So
and
Emma, Kevin, and Matt.
Bob, Dave, and Haley.
He could be named Guy.
Guy Fieri.
Percy. That's a name right there.
Percy Jackson.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Percy. What's going on, Percy? Cole. Yeah, we could put Cole because Cole's going to be on Cole's.
Cole's the first one that got eaten.
Be like, they're gonna play with him. Be like, you know why your parents named you Cole? That's what you're gonna be roasted over. Bud, Bert, Brian, Ken, Harry, Alex, Nathaniel.
Yeah, we could do Cole and Nate.
Cole and Nate. Yeah,
Nathaniel, Nate.
Yeah, we'll go with it.
And then one more girl.
I put down Emma.
Okay, all right, Emma.
I feel like that was just like, yeah, why not?
Haven, Cole. So who's Haven with?
Haven. Maybe they're all just friends, man. It's a friends trip, bro. You know, it's those times.
It's a friends trip, but Haven is secretly in love with Cole.
Okay.
And Cole tries to backstab her to escape, but gets eaten.
See if you're in love with Cole.
You are frozen on my screen right now.
No, I just wasn't talking.
Oh, there you go.
Haven. Cole, knowing that Haven secretly loves him, tries to offer her up as food first. It says, if you love me, you'll be eaten first.
Oh, so he's that kind of person. Or he, I don't know, when they're escaping, he just pushes her down or something.
No,
eat her!
No, here it is. I mean, this is pretty basic stuff, but hey, Emma also loves Cole. All right, if you really want to put them together, you can put Haven, like maybe this is like a first date type deal. Haven and Cole, Emma and Nate, but Emma actually does, likes Cole. And then once Emma get a chance to push Haven down and see if she can eliminate her, she tries.
Oh, okay. Yeah. This is survival.
And maybe she even tries to eliminate Nate. Maybe Nate and Emma are not having, maybe they're not having a good time. Their relationship's on the end arc as it is. And, Emma might see this as an opportunity to get rid of her current lover, soon to be ex, and to get rid of who she wants as a lover. Get rid of that girl.
Get rid of the opposition.
That's right. It says the ops got to end today. So tries to eliminate Haven and Nate as she is in love with Cole. All right. Nate's relationship with Emma is on the downturn. Okay. And Cole's just living life. Cole likes Haven and is chill. He'll be the chill guy. Nate's mean. He might just be mean out of circumstance. He's kind of fed up with life and his relationship, but he's still around. So he's a little resentful. And it comes across as mean. All right. So we'll just kind of leave him there. It's not too deep character because this is an outline, folks.
Yep.
All right. So, and our genres here really is horror and sci-fi.
Horror, sci-fi, thriller. Yep.
All right. Cool. Outline. We begin with the group at a paragliding establishment getting their gear on. All right. So, and what were the words? We're already going to mix in the paragliding and the mountains. So that will be scenery. Greenfield is at the end, hiking trail, and the women that we have.
Yeah, so we can get some most of these out of the way.
like immediately.
Yeah,
Like
like
half of this stuff is, well, for our words at least, half physical pain, grimace, sentiment, nervous. Like that's in Twilight. Like I don't know why there's sky paragliding at Twilight, because that seems kind of stupid. But maybe they're not. Maybe there's paragliding during the day. Everything seems normal.
and they fall into the forest and they
Right.
kind of look for a way out.
And
It turns Twilight.
It turns to Twilight. Or as they get to the forest, we get a hint of that supernaturalness, and it's like the day all of a sudden sped up, and they're like, "Hey, the sun's already going down. What time is it on your watch or whatever?" Maybe they look at the watch and it's like noon, and it's like Twilight. Maybe it's just so weird. Everything's a little off-putting and strange there. So the group is getting, and we're coming in at just an hour left. The group is getting ready for a paragliding adventure over.
Who's nervous? Who's nervous about it?
Over the mountains. Girl Haven. Haven is nervous since she's never done this before.
All I'm saying is I don't like heights. You'll never see me doing any of this.
Well, you gotta do it after this for research purposes. So Haven is nervous as she's never done this before, but Cole reassures,
because Cole's an adrenaline junkie,
that he's done it a bunch, and so has Nate. They will guide us. They will guide them. All right. So Cole and Nate. So we're already making some more adaptations to Cole and Nate. They've done this before. These guys are paragliding teachers or something. All right. So she's nervous, blah, blah, blah. Okay. They get ready. Now we might be able to add, so like Emma and Nate get into an argument about something, about Nate looking at another girl. Just to set up that there's some friction there. But then, then they go ahead and do it.
They jump.
That's right. Okay. So we'll say
on a thick fog.
Nate and Emma.
As soon as they jump, they hit a cloud of fog.
Yeah.
They all get lost.
Yeah. So Nate and Emma go first, and right behind them, Cole and Haven take off. They, enjoy the flight as the sky is clear and blue skies. Perfect day. All right. Perfect day. Then they start to drift over as, heavy winds push them to the left or whatever. Right. So they're taking off. Beautiful day. The sky is blue. It's whatever, magical. They're over here paragliding, having a good time, and then all of a sudden these winds just kind of gust them over, and they're trying to pull it back, but they're being pushed over. They are pushed over to a place I'll say Nate and Cole don't recognize, right? So they're like, okay. So they don't really recognize it. I mean, they're kind of on their own paths in a sense, but they're still together, but like on two different paraglides. But they don't really recognize where they are. All of the sudden, and I think you said like cloudy skies.
Cloud of fog.
Okay. All of a sudden, a cloud
engulfs them.
Of heavy rainforest type fog engulfs them. No one can see. Okay, so
absolutely no one.
They come out of this fog, and it's going to be a quick little thing here. They come out of this fog to realize they're headed straight down to the earth. Right, so they come out of this fog just for the realization of they're beaming straight down.
They're gonna come into a very rough landing.
Yeah. Oh man, they're going in the trees. They're gonna be dangling.
Mr. Nate's gonna have a broken leg.
Oh no. Nothing but trees ahead. The group crashes. Okay. So group crashes, maybe some lose consciousness, whatever, they'll regain it later. All right. Or not just some. You know what? We don't even care about everyone else right now. Haven loses consciousness. She comes to with, say, screaming from somewhere close. She finds out it's who's breaking his leg?
Mr. Nate.
Yeah, okay. Finds out Nate has broken his leg. Just break his arm.
All right.
Yeah, he can't fight back, but at least he can run for a little bit. It'll hurt though as he's jostling around with that broken arm. Maybe he broke his collarbone. That hurts like hell, I hear.
Or his ribs.
Oh, but he's gonna become ribs. So let's just break his arm or collarbone, whatever. Break his arm. Emma tells him to shut up, to stop being so loud. She don't care. Emma sees Haven and asks if she knows where Cole is. See? So Emma and Nate are together. Nate got the busted wing. Emma sees Haven. It's like, where's Cole? Implying that she cares. Yeah, she's at least considering him. Haven realizes.
So is he getting eaten first? They find him and he's some ribs.
Well, if we want to play this dynamic about Emma trying to knock them off in a sense, we should probably let him live. And somehow she gets, so maybe Cole's like the first one to get abducted, kidnapped. And then he doesn't get eaten though. Okay, here, all right, look, they don't know where he is right now, right? Haven comes to, they don't know where he is. So let's just say he's already kidnapped, he's already taken prisoner, and the group doesn't know that. They try looking for weird things.
They find some of his stuff.
They find his stuff. Weird things are happening, and then we can go down that path. But whenever this pops up again, where they get captured, they find that he's still alive. He's been like beaten or something. I don't know, but he's still alive. And then Emma could somehow, they're getting ready to eat Cole, in a sense, like he's next on the menu, and Emma somehow like gets them to take Nate instead, as she begins like the opportunity of start knocking people off.
Ooh, what would be kind of a gruesome scene? They all get, whenever this happens, they all get captured.
Yeah, at some point
Cole.
They all need to get captured. Yeah,
they see Cole in a cage. The cannibals are just gathered around the fire. Now they're starting to play games with these people, and they push Cole. They create a circle around Cole and Nate, and they push them together, and they just throw a bone knife in the middle. They tell them to fight.
No, they don't even tell them to fight. They just grunt.
Yeah,
they indicate. They know what they want. They indicate.
They grunt at the bone knife,
and then they're like, "No, we're not going to do it." And they take the spears, and they're like, getting closer to them. They're like, hey, someone's going to die right now. And then they have to fight, and maybe Emma's like, "Go ahead," No,
I was thinking Emma, when Nate's about to get one over on Cole, Emma hits him on the head with something or something. She like intervenes somehow.
Oh, that direct?
It could happen that way, or she could push the knife to Cole,
or maybe the knife skids, gets closer to Emma, and Emma, Nate's like, "Give me the knife," Emma, as he's fighting for his life. Emma puts her foot on it and like doesn't give him the knife. Maybe she pulls it back, and then Cole has to kill his buddy with his bare hands. But then he's mentally distraught, and then these cannibals pick up
poor Nate
and prepare him for dinner, and they get to watch this, and they're just
disgusted,
horrified. Yeah. All right. So Haven realizes Cole's not there. Everyone,
they go looking for him.
Looking for him.
Maybe they find like his wallet or something.
Yeah, they come across his backpack. His. There's a flashlight and other supplies.
But now it's getting dark very fast.
Yeah, I was just about to say. Emma notices the sky is getting dark quickly. She asks for the time. Haven looks down and sees the time as 1 p.m. Though it looks like Twilight. Okay, so it looks like Twilight.
Looks like Twilight. Now they get captured, right?
I'm wondering. All right, so they get captured is definitely pretty much what's going to happen. I'm wondering if there's definitely some sort of something in between that. Find a flashlight, realizes the time is weird here, and getting captured. Like, do they come across something?
Come across a string of skulls on a tree.
Yeah, let's make them scared and have that thriller part. So
they're like, what?
The trio.
What the hell is that?
Continue.
Are those human skulls?
Yeah, they continue in the dark, and someone steps on something that cracks loudly. They flash the light and find a human femur. But the thing is, I don't think they'll even really know what a femur. Like, they're like, where does that come from? It's a big bone, right? So they're confused as to where the bone came from. At that moment, all right, here we go. There's some sounds in the forest that, they can't see where it's coming from. They frantically search the area with the flashlight. So they're trying to see if they can put some light on it. They come across skulls.
Emma's freaked out.
Emma is freaked. Haven is breaking down. Nate is telling them it's okay. They will find a way. Emma tells Nate he doesn't know what he's talking.
And they hear echoes.
Nah, bro, they're going to look up. They're going to hear something from above, look up, and all of a sudden they're going to be jumped.
They're going to hear echoes of some kind of language in the distance.
Bro, the echoes, not going to hear no echoes. They're going to hear, all right, I hear you. I got you. They hear a roar in the distance. That'll make them scared for their lives. They need to move away from the sound. As they do, sound from above is created or something like that. Haven looks up to see underneath of someone's loincloth as they jump them, straight up knocked out, or net.
Yeah, they get netted. That'd probably be better.
Net fall on them. Yeah, so everyone falls to the floor.
Haven looks up to see a golem-looking creature.
And they look through the net to see, you said a golem creature?
Humanoid monster-looking thing. Looks like Gollum.
A human.
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. Approach. Haven screams bloody murder, as they say. All right, so now they are captured.
They see these cannibals with torches, dragging them back to their little village, I guess.
Yeah, to their village. All around fire, like tiki torches almost. And central fire for roasting, but they don't know that yet. In the middle of the huts. Right?
And in a wooden cage.
Groans.
Who do they see?
Groans are let out, and Haven looks over to see a man bloodied. She don't even know who he is yet. Bloodied, moaning, pain. She realizes it's Cole. She yells out to him. Cole lifts his head and screams for them to run, but it's no use. All right, so these creatures place them all in cages. All right, so we have this, all in cage scene. Cole's in a different cage. Should they roast someone else? Should someone be roasting already?
No, I think they should
make them fight. Okay, so some time goes by, and it appears some of the creatures are preparing some apparatus over the fire. Emma asks,
they're prepping for the meal.
What do you think they're doing? Nate says he doesn't know, but be nice and maybe they'll let them out. I got it. I know how they're going to get into this. One of the tribespeople walks by the cage, and Nate tells them, Nate tries to befriend them and offers Snickers bar. You're not yourself when you're hungry. Offers a Snickers bar. The tribesman tries it, spits it out. He points at him, and others come and remove him from the cage.
How dare you give that man chocolate?
Bro, you gotta make it a little bit funny. It removes him from the cage.
They take Nate. I mean, they take Cole out of the cage too.
That's right. Then they remove Cole out of his cage.
Now they're
thrown to the ground, facing each other.
And they form a circle around them. Pretty
The tribe forms
sizable circle.
a circle around them.
The one cannibal, who looks like the chief cannibal, because he has some kind of headdress maybe, starts making some hand signals and noises, takes out a knife made of bone, and throws it in the middle between them. And the two girls are still in the cages, watching with horror.
He throws the knife in the middle of them. Girls watching. Okay, so Cole responds with no and tries to move away
And they beat him
from
somehow.
the knife.
They hit him with a club or something.
Put a spear at his throat and grunt. Nate tries to run, but he's stupid, and
He gets thrown to the ground.
they club him. Club him, kneecap him. Nate already has a broken arm, though. So I think it's
Now
already.
they're roughing him up even more. Well, they don't know that.
Yeah,
He doesn't have
they-
like a cast or anything.
They club him in the stomach.
And he kicks him over back to the middle.
Bro, they wouldn't care if he had a cast. They don't know what that is. And kicks him back to the middle. Right? Okay. The guys look at each other. They try to make act to do nothing.
Ooh,
The tribe.
what if they start threatening the girls now? And that's when someone makes a move.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's a good. I wasn't thinking that, but that's perfect because we gotta make it so it's like they not all of a sudden just try to go at each other. It's like no, they try to make a pact to like no, we're not gonna do this. Blah blah. The tribes folk won't have that. They remove Emma from the cage and put a knife to her throat. Guys have to act. Cole looks at the knife. Nate looks at the knife and at each other.
Well, Nate has to make the first move. That's his girl.
Who's gonna make the first? Yeah, but neither one wants to die. Cole's already been brutalized with these folks. He wants out. Cole lunges at the knife, and Nate kicks him in the face.
Now he throws dirt in his eyes.
They wrestle for control.
Wait, who goes for the knife first?
The knife. I just said Cole does because he's been in this.
Okay.
Because I have to say that his mindset. He's been there by himself longer. Like this man's been brutalized. So they wrestle for control of the knife. I said Cole lunges for the knife. Nate kicks him in the face. Maybe he gets his hand on it, or whatever. But they start wrestling for the knife, and we'll spruce that up. Wrestling for the knife. I'm just gonna put knife control or fight for knife control ensues because I'm not gonna write this whole thing. Fight for knife control. All right, the knife
Ends up in front of Emma somehow.
That's right. Gets flung in front of Emma. Nate beats Cole pretty badly and crawls closer to Emma. He tells her to toss him the knife. Emma looks at Nate, looks at the knife, and decides to pull it away with her foot.
And kick it past him to Cole, who's
no.
behind.
Kick it past him. Yeah, maybe. All right. So she looks at a knife and decides to pick it up. So he thinks he's going to get help right here. Picks it up and tosses it just past Nate. So Nate doesn't necessarily think necessarily is up, nothing's wrong just yet. Tosses just past Nate. Nate turns around to find Cole.
Cole stabs him in the gut.
Find Cole holding the knife. Cole lunges and guts him. Nate is, all right, here we go. All right. So we used the word Twilight. We used the word nervous, but
I
now,
think we use them all except for.
well, we didn't really use Grimace. I mean, we could. We definitely could. I mean, you know, you can add that in how they broke their fall. But we could say a grimace crossed Nate's face. Nate is in.
Really, the only word we have yet to really incorporate in is sentiment. But that we could put that in the beginning. Like Haven's nervous.
Yeah.
Maybe
This is another place to put it.
Yeah.
You know, Nate has a grimace.
Well, when they first see Cole, he could be grimacing too.
Nate's face turns into a grimace. The physical pain just get very elaborate. The physical pain overtakes him.
Blood starts dripping out of his mouth.
Cole pulls back the knife and stabs him in the heart.
Oh, he stabbed him twice.
Hey, at this point, you know, he's doing him a favor, man. You don't want to be gutted and bleed out. All right? So
the cannibals erupt in cheers.
And cheer and pick up Nate's
lifeless body.
Yeah.
And they drag him towards a
table.
Stone slab.
They gotta skin him first.
No, they're just gonna.
Oh no! What they're gonna do is they're gonna put him on the slab. They're gonna open his mouth and pull his neck down, and they're gonna jam a spike right through.
Oh my god!
Erupt and cheer and pick up Nate's body. But here's this thing. I just want to add this little detail. As they walk away with it, Cole looks Emma, you know, confused. Like he's like, "You help me? Why?" Then Cannibals place Cole and Emma in their
back in the cage. You go.
All three watch as Nate's body
being sliced and diced and spiked
is prepared. They put herbs on him, garlic.
Put an apple in his mouth.
Slice him up and run Spike through. You're going to have to put like an age restriction on this video. Through his mouth, and it's out somewhere we can't say. They place
Haven throws up from watching
his corpse over the fire onto this apparatus to cook him. Haven throws up. Cole watches in horror. Emma smiles.
Licks her lips. She's hungry.
Emma is emotionless. Imagine that. Emma smiled. She's like, yes. There you go. She's evil.
She's evil, all right.
It's one of those stories where the audience is like praying to see Emma get killed. Because if she's like so evil in the sense, the audience is going to be like, oh, get her now. Okay, so she's emotionless. So now we're in the situation. By the way, we have 24 minutes. We have to get him out of this cage, and we still have to demonstrate that this forest is an endless loop, and then obviously bring her to freedom. So, I think this is one of those things where they come across the waterfall. They come across the waterfall early on. They see it. They're like, it's not a way out. You know what I mean? It's the old saying that if you're lost in the forest, follow the river.
Yeah, or maybe they see it while they're in the air. Like they see,
or maybe
they see because they can see everything up there, right? They can see.
Yeah, but maybe not. I mean, by the time they enter this fog, and then true. They go straight into they're approaching the ground. Maybe there's no time to even comprehend that, and that's okay. They don't need to. I think the idea of they're trying to do what good survivalists say, or partly what they say you should do, which is find a river if you can. Walk.
Yeah, I think you find a river because you listened for it, right?
Right.
So maybe,
and then you're supposed to walk it. Eventually, you'll find mankind because all things kind of lead to water at some point. So okay. So we need to. So pretty much, I'm just gonna do a quick little thing, boom. So they escape. They listen for the.
Well, I was thinking, since these cannibals like to play games, I was thinking maybe they do one of those sadistic games where they let them run off free and they hunt them.
They already caught them.
That's true too.
So the way I kind of see it, and we can kind of elaborate slash change it, of course, is they escape somehow. They listen for the river, find the waterfall. They
So all
die.
three of them escape, or should we kill off one more
We,
person?
we could talk about that, but they die bit by bit. Haven, at least Haven, maybe someone else too, but Haven realizes the whole place leads them back to something. Maybe I don't know. Maybe they keep going back to where they originally landed. That makes sense. So like they think she's getting away, so the whole place, the whole forest leads them back to the original crash site, if you will. Cannibals getting closer, whatever. Haven is cornered and decides to end life on her terms. You know, she's cornered by this waterfall. She jumps into the waterfall. She reemerges a beautiful day with a hiking trail nearby and signs for civilization. All right, so that's more or less
Yeah.
where we need to get to.
Comes to, so how do they escape?
Right.
Let's see. Maybe they gotta pull one over on one of the cannibals. Maybe Cole kept the bone knife from the fight, like he snuck it in his pocket or something, and he uses that to.
Well, maybe they take it back, or maybe he tries to hold on to it, and they find it, and they remove it, or whatever. And then maybe in the book bag, there's a knife in there. So it's like it seems like all hope is lost. So all right, so they escape, blah blah. So like, pretty much after that, we watch Cole try to hide the bone knife. He doesn't notice tribesmen watching him. They come into the cage, eat him, take the knife. All hope seems lost. Okay. Emma is digging through the bag, finds food, finds more food, and begins to eat.
And then a cannibal comes over with a bowl of finger
And tells him
from
to eat it.
from Nate's body and offers it as food.
Stop. Yeah, why not? So Haven asks for the bag, and Emma passes it over. The cannibal that prepared Nate walks over with the bowl. He places it inside the cage. It's Nate's roasted fingers.
Oh my god. What a sick story. Oh,
I don't think I've ever thought of anything this sick. The group is horrified even more. Haven digs into the bag for food and finds a knife. So, like, maybe they just cut maybe like whatever is holding the cage door is something that they can kind of cut through.
Yeah, it's like some kind of rope or string.
Yeah.
That they can kind of saw through.
Yeah. Haven looks at the knife and realizes that at the 15-minute mark, they can cut their way, looks at the knife, realizes they can cut their way out of the cage lock or whatever. I mean, maybe it's just, whatever. Cole begins to cut as the girls, they can be distracted because they're eating.
Well, I think they should wait till the cannibals go to bed or something.
Okay. So, yeah, that's good, actually. They can cut their way in the lock. Cole places
The festivities have died down. Nate is just a skeleton now.
In his pocket.
All the cannibals are heading to their huts.
Nah, bro, they're gonna pass out right there after eating, old boy. So
they're just gonna sleep on the ground in front of them.
Bro, had a good feast. The cannibals eat Nate and have a good old time.
So they gotta tiptoe past all these sleeping cannibals now.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, later in the night, the cannibals are fast asleep.
Well, there's one that's got a kid cannibal. Maybe he's still awake.
Gets to work. Yeah, maybe. The Cole gets to work.
Starts sawing at this rope latch on the cage.
Right. Eventually, Cole makes his way through, and they escape the cage.
They got to do it quietly, though.
Yeah. They tiptoe around the cannibal and run in the direction where they landed. At 12 minutes, a plan is hatched to collect what they can and make their way out of the forest. Cole said he remembers from a survival guide that they need to listen for a river. They need to listen for a river and then follow it. The group hears water close by, walk into that direction. They come a massive waterfall as day breaks.
Come across a massive waterfall.
It's too big to jump into, but they can walk the other direction and see if it leads to somewhere out of this place. Okay, so now we have them, walking down the waterfall. We're like, they kind of need to die bit by bit, and then they kind of loop back. So maybe the cannibals go on the hunt again, or they're hunted by an animal or something. I don't know.
I think they walk towards. They just keep walking against the waterfall.
Yeah.
But then they start noticing that they just keep walking past the same stuff.
Yeah.
We don't know when it starts looping. They just keep walking past like the same, I don't know, like a tree or something.
So we'll say a day goes by. They continue to walk the river for a day. Here it is, right? They make camp, their version of camp, and take turns watching as they sleep, the day breaks, and they continue their walk. Somewhere in the middle of the day, Emma notices they've walked past the same rock formation 2 times. It probably takes someone a couple times before they even realize it, but 3 times now.
Yeah.
Cole tells her that's impossible. Emma says no. She even carved it, and it's there. Haven tells them, like, it's impossible, right? So,
yeah.
So, realistically, Cole and Haven have I won't say a freak out, but like, whatever, right? So they are like, what the F is going on?
Yep.
Now, at this point, so we really don't need to have them go back to the original crash site if we're down this. But maybe the cannibals are starting to, maybe they hear the war cry from the cannibals, like they're getting close, and they decide they have to run away, and then they get separated, and then bad things happen.
Yeah, all right.
So we got about 7 minutes. Okay, so
Emma's got to pull a fast one on Haven somewhere somehow.
Who?
Emma,
yeah. Maybe Emma goes where. So the group hears a war cry, and they decide they need to run up the river faster. As they do, the sounds of the tribe grow close when all of a sudden Arrow splits in between them. Emma and Haven splits in between them. Haven looks back. All right, here, I'll just make it simple. All right, so Haven looks back and sees the tribe coming. She runs away from the river. Haven runs with her. Cole tells them to stay by the river, but it seems to be looping, right?
Yep.
Through the forest, the 2 girls go. More arrows follow. Emma and Haven are flying through when a club smashes into Haven's face, or into Haven's stomach. All right, I got it. Into Haven's stomach.
Club.
Yeah, they caught them. All right, so here's the thing. So the club bomb hits her. Haven call out to Emma to help. Emma looks back and stops for a moment, but decides to continue running. Haven is about to be killed when Cole comes out of nowhere with the knife and kills the man. Drives him. He helps Haven to her feet and tells her to run. They tear through the forest. Emma nowhere in sight. That's Emma nowhere in sight. That's when they return to their crash site. They're still looping. Cole is in disbelief, and as they are about to move on, an arrow crashes into
Pierces Cole
his head
in the chest.
He's gonna die. Head or chest, he's a dead man. Okay? Haven screams. Yeah, into his chest is fine. We'll have a little sweet moment. Haven screams. Cole drops. Haven, about 2 minutes, 30 seconds, comes to his side, and Cole tells her to leave him go. After a moment, with a little sweet thing, whatever, Haven leaves. She's alone. Okay?
Yep.
Okay. Haven is alone. She gets to the waterfall. Haven is cornered and decide. Okay, so Haven is cornered as she stands at the ledge, and the tribesmen get close. We hear a high pitch scream. That's Emma.
Oh no.
Being killed. Or no, that's Emma being Captured, right. She's gonna get dragged back for food. 35 seconds. She's gonna get dragged back for food. Haven decides to end her life on her terms and jumps into the waterfall.
Haven looks at the cannibals, looks down, decides
to go for it. Oh, the Assassin's Creed fall.
Yeah,
she emerges. 10 seconds. She emerges on a beautiful day on a hiking trail, civilization, signs for civilization, etc. The end.
Yep.
Kind of close, and there goes the timer. Boy, oh boy, a sick story.
What an interesting story.
My goodness.
Boy, oh boy, I cannot wait to read this out loud.
How you want?
This is one of.
Go ahead.
This is one of those just one and done horror movies.
Oh yeah, I mean this one it needs some loving, as they all do. I mean it's an outline, but I wasn't expecting this story to become so bloodied and cruel.
We just had to go back to our roots. We did a few wholesome stories.
I think that's really your roots.
Say what?
Yeah, I think that's actually your roots.
Bro, but you're the head cannibal.
I'm the head.
The head cannibal's Dave. The head cannibal's Dave.
All right, we got ourselves something special here.
That's right. That was a doozy. I think I could go from beginning to...
What, just halfway somewhere?
Yeah, I could go from beginning to when they threaten Emma before, the two guys start fighting. And then I think that's about halfway.
When they threaten Emma. When do they threaten Emma?
When they're about to fight.
Yeah. Okay. That works for me.
When they're about to fight, yeah, and then you could do the roasting scene and the fight scene.
You just want to capture me on camera talking about this scene you're up to. Yeah, somewhere around here.
I mean, you're the one that flavored that scene up with the details. All I put was they prepared Nate's body for dinner.
Just wanted to make sure it felt realistic is all.
And I'm sure our audience will appreciate that.
Yeah. Or you. I'm good to start whenever you're good to go.
All right. So to recap for everyone, the 5 words that we were given were Twilight, Grimace, physical, sentiment, nervous. We generated also 2 images. One of a paraglider in the middle of paragliding in the middle of mountains, and then a woman on a hiking trail with lush green fields. So here is our story. Emma, Haven, and Cole, and Nate are in a car They're road tripping up. We see forests and a mountain in the horizon. We don't know what they're doing yet. They're just excited to go on this trip. Haven is super nervous in the car. She keeps telling them they've never done this before. Nate and Cole reassure the two girls that they're professionals. They've done this once or twice before. So they get to the area where it's time for them to go paragliding. They get suited up into their gear. Haven looks down across the valley, see mountains, forest. She seems scared, but Cole reassures her that it's going to be okay. In the back, we see Emma and Nate kind of getting in an argument behind some trees. We don't know what they're fighting about, but they're just going at it. Nate and Emma decide to take the first leap. They get geared up, and they both jump off a cliff, as strange as that looks to the outsider. And they start floating on their paragliding, gliding across the valley, super scenic. They see clouds, etc. Right behind them, Cole and Haven take their leap and start jumping off. They're all enjoying the scenery. It's blue skies, it's a clear day. Suddenly they run into some heavy winds that kind of change the trajectory of their paraglide. So they start drifting towards a direction that Cole and Nate aren't really familiar with. And Cole and Nate are getting nervous. You can see it in their faces, but they'll be okay. They'll be able to figure it out since they seem very familiar with this area. All of a sudden, they hit a cloud of fog. They're engulfed in it. Now, no one can see anything. As it turns out, they're in for a rough landing. They're just plummeting towards a foresty area. And they'll soon find out as soon as the fog kind of lifts. They see trees, and they're just going straight down. The crew crashes. Our main character, Haven, loses consciousness on landing, but she immediately wakes up, and she hears screams of a man. She runs over into that direction, and she finds Nate and Emma. Emma is kind of helping Nate nurse his arm. Nate has broken his arm upon landing, but Cole is still nowhere to be found. Emma asks Haven, "Where's Cole?" And they don't know. So the three of them, Nate picks up his arm and his other arm, and they're kind of just looking for clues on where Cole is. They come across his wallet. They start finding belongings of Cole from where he crash landed. As they're doing this, the sky is getting really dark fast. It's becoming to look like Twilight in the sky. Haven asks Emma, "What time is it?" They all look at their watch. It's 1 p.m. It shouldn't be this dark, so it's weird. So Emma picks up the book bag that they found of Cole's, starts rummaging through it, finds a flashlight, and the three start making their way through the forest with only a flashlight as it's starting to get pitch black. They continue on, and someone steps on an object that has an eerie cracking sound. They point the flashlight to the ground, and they see a large femur bone. They don't know where it's from, but we know that it's a human femur bone. So, as they're confused about this bone, they start hearing noises in the forest. Kind of sounds like talking, but they don't recognize the language. It sounds like grunting. Could be animals, could be something else. They continue just walking through the area, and they kind of see something hanging from a tree. They don't know what. Emma points the flashlight at it. It's a string of skulls, which it looks exactly like human skulls. Now they start getting freaked out, the group, and they hear a loud roar in the distance. They have no idea what's going on. Pitch black. They hear some rustling in the trees. Emma points the flashlight up, and they see a golem-looking creature in the tree staring straight down at them as he tosses a net onto the three. Soon after, torches, humanoids holding torches, come across the three. They start making grunting noises, and they start dragging the three through the forest. As these creatures start dragging them through the forest, they come across their village. They see tiki torches, some huts made of straw and wood, and they make their way past all these other humanoid-looking creatures looking at them in excitement, some licking their lips for whatever reason. They make their way towards the center of the forest, the center of the village, where there's a main bonfire. We see the leader creature who stands out with a headdress and markings on his face. And we see a man, bloodied and bruised inside a cage. Upon further look, Haven notices that it's Cole. She yells out his name, Cole! The man looks up. He comes running towards the bars of his wooden cage. He says, Haven, you guys have to run. Get out of here now. But it's no use. They're in the nets, being dragged towards another cage, as that is where they're going to be imprisoned. So the creatures put Emma, Nate, and Haven into the wooden cage. And we see the creatures kind of sharpening knives near the fire in the middle, bringing out things, looking like they're preparing for a great meal or celebration. They bring out a strange apparatus near the fire, bring out some giant stone slabs, etc. We see more and more of the humanoids come out of their huts, everyone joining towards the middle where the bonfire is. Nate, being a clever man, tries to bribe one of these creatures. He pulls out a Snickers bar. Who doesn't like Snickers? He waves for the cannibal to come over, or the humanoid to come over. Opens the Snickers bar, takes a bite. He's like, it's good. Offers it to the humanoid. Humanoid looks at it weirdly. Takes the Snickers bar from Nate's hand and takes a bite. Starts munching on it. Doesn't know what to think of it. And he immediately spits it on the ground. And there's an angry look on his face. He makes some grunting noises and starts pointing at Nate. A few more humanoids come over, grab Nate by both arms, and they start wheeling him out. He's like, wait, what are you guys doing? And we see another group of humanoids grab a Cole from the other cage, start dragging him out too. They throw the two of them on the ground right in front of each other. And they start to form a tight circle around the two men. The chief humanoid comes over, starts saying something in their language. He pulls out a bone knife from his pocket and raises it in the air. All the humanoids erupt in cheers and applaud. He walks over to the two men, the two friends. He shows them the bone knife and drops it in the middle of them and walks back towards the fire. It's clear that these creatures want the two friends to fight each other to the death. And Cole refuses. He says no. He tries to back up and walk away, but he's immediately met with a spear to his throat, pushing him back towards the middle. Nate tries to escape, tries to make a run for it, tries to break through the circle. They catch him, throw him on the ground, and club him, and beat his ass some more, and throw him back to the middle. Nate and Cole make a gentleman's agreement not to fight. The chief cannibal is getting annoyed. You can see in his face. He makes some gestures and says some grunting sounds, and he points at the cage where the two girls are. Two cannibals go over to that cage, and they take out Emma by both arms. She's screaming and kicking, and one of the cannibals pulls out a bone knife and holds it to her throat. Now, the two men are in a tight spot. They're either gonna kill Emma, who is Nate's girlfriend, or the two have to duke it out. Both men look at the knife, they look at each other, and then what happens?
Who's gonna make the first move? Classic question. The suspense rises as they look at the knife, look at each other. The realization that this is the way things have to go. Cole lunges at the knife, but Nate is quick and kicks him in the face. Cole's able to get a hand on the knife, and they begin to wrestle for control. As they're wrestling, the knife changes hands from Cole to Nate to Cole. Then, as Cole tries to plunge the knife down into Nate, Nate stops him, and with a flick, slaps the knife out of his hand. The knife is flung through the air and lands in front of Emma. A slam dunk, Nate has to be thinking. Emma will help him defeat Cole. Nate beats Cole some more just so he can assert dominance and slow him down, and crawls a bit closer to Emma. He tells her, "Toss me the knife." Emma looks down at the knife. What to do? She looks up at Cole, looks at the knife again. She squats over, picks it up, and tosses it just over Nate's head. Annoyed, Nate turns around to collect the knife, but finds Cole holding the knife close to him. It's game over. Nate can't move fast enough. Cole lunges and guts him right into the stomach, pulls the knife across. In Grimace, the physical pain takes over Nate's face. He collapses, still alive on the ground. Cole pulls back the knife and plunges it into his heart, finishing the job. Maybe it was mercy. The cannibals erupt and cheer and applaud. This was an interesting bit of sport for them. They pick up Nate's corpse and begin to walk it away to the larger fire and a table to be used for who knows what. Cole looks at Emma, confused as to why she helped him. She looks away. At that moment, the remaining cannibals pick up Cole and take Cole and Emma back to their cage. All three watch in horror as they realize why that table was in front of that large fire. They begin to slice and dice Nate's body. They're preparing him to be cooked. They then drive a large spike through his mouth, out the other end. They prepare the rest of the meat with herbs and spices. They drizzle some unknown liquid over his body. Maybe in the real world, we would consider it cooking oil. Haven throws up from the grotesque actions of these cannibals. Cole watches in horror, and Emma is emotionless as they place his body over the fire to roast. Cole remembers that he still has that bone knife. He tries to hide it quickly without being noticed, but one of the tribesmen that brought him back to the cage is still watching him. That tribesman walks into the cage, beats him again with the club, and takes the knife. All hope seems gone and lost. Emma is besides herself. She doesn't know what to do. She sits down, and with the bag that they brought that came with them, digs through it and finds a bit of food and begins to eat. Haven, sitting with her back towards the fire, sees Emma eating and asks her to pass over the bag. She does. As Haven digs through the bag, the cannibal opens the cage. Is this a moment of freedom? Perhaps a moment of kindness? Or even worse, the cannibal places the bowl down inside the cage. Haven looks over and realizes inside the bowl are the roasted fingers of their dear friend Nate. The food that Emma had ate, she throws it up. The group is horrified. As Haven digs through the bag just for something, she wraps her fingers around something hard. She pulls it up a bit closer and realizes it's a hunting knife. She looks at the knife, looks over to Cole, and realizes this is their opportunity. She motions over to Cole. Cole plays it cool, and as the cannibals are eating Nate, steps closer and sits next to her. He sees what she's looking at, what's in her hand. The plan formulates without a word being said. Cole transitions the knife from the bag into his pocket. Eventually, the cannibals do fall asleep, perhaps so well fed from Nate, they went into a sleep coma. But as the cannibals sleep, Cole realizes this is their chance to escape. Cole begins to slice his way through the twine that holds the lock together. Each time the knife passes forward and back, it creaks. They do it softly, quietly almost, in order to not wake any of the cannibals. Eventually, Cole makes his way through the cage lock. They open it up. As the cage door opens, it squeals ever so slightly. One of the cannibals stirs, and they panic and freeze. You can almost see their heartbeat. However, the cannibal does not awake. They tiptoe around them, and once they get clear, run like hell in the direction in which they came. They end up at the landing crash site. It is there the trio hatch a plan. Cole remembers something from a survival guide that he once read, where it listed that they should listen for water, and if it leads to a river, follow it. Eventually, they'll reach some sort of civilization. Seeing how this is the only good plan, they decide to go with it. As they walk through a bit of the forest, the night sky still lingers over them, oddly without stars, just the moon. They hear a water flow. They decide to follow the direction of the sound. And just as day breaks, they come across a massive waterfall, far too big to jump into. It seems death would result if they decided to jump. Haven tells them they should walk in the other direction. Perhaps it leads somewhere out of this godforsaken place. And so they do. They walk the entire day from sun up to sundown. And as the sun falls over the horizon, they decide to make camp. This camp is not your best camp, but it's somewhere where they can lay their head while they take turns watching over the group. As the day breaks, they continue their walk. Then all of a sudden, Emma notices something. She can't believe it. Her eyes widen. She tells them all to wait. They stop walking. What is it now, Emma? Cole says. Emma points to a bunch of rocks and says, "We've walked past that rock formation three times now." Cole tells her that's impossible. She's seeing things. Her brain is playing tricks on her. Emma repeats, no, she's seen that formation 3 times. Not only that, she marked it on the second time just to make sure she wasn't going crazy. Cole's in disbelief. On one hand, he doesn't want to believe her. On the other hand, the proof is right in front of him. Haven is trying to collect herself and collect the group, keep the morale. But as she begins to tell them to not lose hope, in the distance we hear a war cry. It's the cannibals. They're catching up to them. They decide to run faster up the river. They just need to move from that location. As they do, the sound of the tribe grows closer. It's as if they've gotten nowhere further away. As it feels like hope is starting to become lost, it doubles down as an arrow pierces right between the group. No one is hit, but Haven looks back, and at this point, the tribe's upon them. They need to run away from the river. Haven runs into the forest. Emma close behind her. Cole yells out to stay by the river, but it's too late. They've gone their path. As the two girls run through the forest, more arrows follow, narrowly missing them. As they think they're gaining some distance away, or just running for their dear life, a club, out of nowhere, smashes into Haven's stomach, taking all the air out of her lungs and causing her to collapse to the ground. She looks up and calls out for Emma for help. Emma stops, looks back. For a moment, you think she's going to come to the rescue, but she decides to run on. Haven is truly alone. The tribesman straddles her and begins to choke the life out of her with the club. Just as she's about to die, a knife is plunged straight into the head of the tribesman. It's Cole. He's come to her rescue. He helps her up to her feet as she catches her breath and tells her they need to run. They tear through the forest at full sprint. Where's Emma gone? No one knows. But at this point, it is not Haven's concern as she left her for dead. They get back to a clearing and realize they've looped back to their crash site. Cole's in disbelief. Haven is beside herself. They're trying to formulate a plan, maybe in a different direction. They don't know. But as they discuss this quickly, an arrow crashes and plunges directly into Cole's chest. Fatal. He collapses. Haven screams in horror and drops by his side. Cole tells her to leave him. He knows there's nothing she can do for him. After a moment, Haven decides he's right and she needs to get going, at least try to survive, some bit of hope. She runs off. She's truly alone. You can hear her breath as she breathes in and out, running through the forest, tearing off in a direction she doesn't even know where she's going. And somewhere in the near distance are the cannibals hunting her down, seemingly able to track her perfectly. Haven gets back to the waterfall that they discovered earlier. The vastness of it. It looks like it falls off into nothing. She stands there at the ledge. What to do? She turns around. The cannibals are now upon her. She wouldn't be able to get past them. They'll just take her, put her in a cage, and eventually cook her, just the same way Nate has gone. As she thinks about her options, she hears a high-pitched scream. That has to be Emma. She sounds alive. She's captured. We all know her fate. Haven looks back over the waterfall, looks at the cannibals. The only question at this point is, on whose terms is she to go out of this world on? She closes her eyes and falls backwards into the waterfall. The water cascades over her. We lose her in all the water. She plunges into the lake below, the river below. Everything goes black. And then Haven emerges on a beautiful day. She looks up at the very top of the waterfall but can't see it. It's as if the clouds have gotten in the way to interrupt her view of the top. She pulls herself out of the river and onto the side of a hiking trail. There's even signs for civilization. She looks back up again and can't see the edge that she was on. She gets up and begins to walk the trail. We fade to black. The end.
The end. Whew. There you go. That was quite an interesting story.
Oh man, that was
Fun story.
a fun, interesting, crazy story.
Dark, sadistic story.
One of the darkest.
Oh man. Now I'm curious on what this AI is about to come up with. So let me pull that up.
Let's see.
It's been working well the past few days for me when I was playing with it. So hopefully
Let's
it does
see.
not crap itself. All right. Pull up our words that we've got. Can you make a story with the words Twilight, Grimace, physical, sentiment, and nervous as words or themes used in the story? Have two of these scenes include the following: paragliding across mountains, a hiking trail with lush green field. Have this be a survival story
With cannibals.
with cannibals.
Yeah, why not? We'll just throw it the bone.
Yeah,
There might
we'll
be
give it
too
that.
much
We'll give it
information, but
that.
We'll see what it does.
That's our twist, but we'll give it to them just to see.
Well, hold on, because we should make it fair, because that was something that we made up, so we should only give it what we didn't make up and see what it comes up with. So we'll give it the survival story.
All right, and that's it?
Yeah.
All right.
Because we got to cannibals from a survival story.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Let's go. Luna, huh?
Luna.
Often soared into the twilight seeking answers to her own dreams.
Oh, this is crazy.
Yeah, I still can't get over the one story where the
cheese?
assassin got cheese.
Yeah.
Still gets to me.
Here is cheese.
That still gets to me.
An assassin does his assassinating on the promise of cheese. It's writing a story.
Yeah, no. Version 4 is pretty good.
Yeah.
It gets into it. It might even stop like halfway because it ran out of words, but I just tell it to continue. Oh, never mind. Survival adventure.
Okay.
Title.
Well, the titles are worse.
Title has no creativity. All right. So once upon a time, in a small village nestled between towering mountains and lush green fields, lived a young woman named Luna. The village was famous for its magical twilight skies, which were rumored to bring good fortune to those who dared to dream. Luna, a gifted paraglider, often soared into the twilight, seeking answers to her own dreams. One fateful day, Luna decided to embark on a grand adventure to test her physical and mental limits. The challenge was to cross a treacherous mountain range that bordered her village with nothing but her trusty paraglider and a backpack full of supplies. As she prepared for her journey, a nervous sentiment crept into her heart, but she couldn't let fear hold her back. Luna set off on her journey, hiking through a trail lined with lush green fields. The beauty of her surroundings soothed her nerves, and she marveled at the of the vibrant hues that danced before her eyes. With each step, she felt more determined and connected to the earth beneath her feet. As the sun began to set, casting a warm golden glow over the landscape, Luna prepared her paraglider for the first aerial stretch of her journey. With a deep breath and running start, she launched herself into the twilight sky. The wind rushed past her face, and she reveled in the sensation of flying high above the mountains. However, the tranquility was short-lived as Luna encountered a powerful gust of wind that caught her off guard. She grimaced as she fought to regain control of her paraglider, her heart pounding with fear. She knew that a single mistake could send her plummeting to her doom. Through sheer determination and skill, Luna managed to navigate the treacherous winds, eventually landing on a mountainside clearing. Exhausted, she set up camp for the night, grateful to be alive. The following day, Luna continued her journey, traversing rugged terrain and crossing narrow, heart-stopping ridges. As she pushed herself to her physical limits, she realized that this adventure was not just about survival, but about discovering her inner strength. After days of grueling effort, Luna reached the other side of the mountain range. As she descended the final slope, she was greeted by a stunning vista of her village, bathed in the gentle light of twilight. With tears in her eyes and a newfound sense of accomplishment, she knew that her journey had changed her forever. Luna returned to her village as a hero, her story inspiring the people to dream bigger and face their fears. The twilight skies above the village continued to work their magic, and the legend of Luna and a daring survival adventure lived on for generations.
Wait, why is she a hero?
Because she dared to travel past the mountain ranges that bordered her village.
That doesn't make her a hero. She didn't come back with anything that saved them. She just went past it. See, in order to make her a hero, it's like she would have to, it's like a Moana story, right? She would have to leave in order to try to find a remedy to a solution or something.
Yeah, to bring something back.
Yeah.
But she just came back with nothing.
There's a story to tell. And her own personal perseverance. That's not hero.
Yeah.
It's not a bad story. It's missing.
It's missing a real
meat.
Call to adventure and mission. The writing is good.
Yeah.
The story, not so much.
Yeah, it just needs something to make it more. Oh, she went paragliding past this thing, and sense of adventure.
Dragons started chasing her. Something.
Yeah, our stories won easily.
It wasn't going to beat Cannibals.
I mean, that was a hard mandate. You know, we have folks who are just trying to survive, and then Cannibals. But that was a good story. I think it's gotten better for sure.
It's definitely number 4 is definitely better than 3.5. Yeah.
All right.
I don't think anything will top 3.5's Assassin Cheese story. That was the greatest.
That's quite the story. So what do you want to dub this? This is our W here?
Of course.
Okay.
How are you going to beat no Cannibals?
That's right.
Cannibals against no Cannibals.
Everyone else, tell us what you think. But now...
we got to give it a title.
Exactly. But now we got to name our story. And the most obvious name is Cannibal.
The Feast.
The Feast. I like that.
The Forest.
The Forest. The Paraglide from Hell. The Waterfall. How about this? Because, you know, it has a couple different plays here. But Haven. Because you have Safe Haven, which is safe, you know, safe harbor, safe place to be. But now obviously it's the name of the protagonist. So there's that double thing of like, you want that safe haven, but they're not going to get it. She ends up getting it at the end, so, you know, when she goes off the waterfall, and it's her name. So that was something.
All right. I like that. I was going to say Waterfall or The Feast. Those are my two.
The Feast is pretty good. The Feast. I don't know. I think it's between Haven and The Feast. I can see both of them working.
I do like Haven because there's double entendre meaning in there.
Yeah. All right. Haven it is.
You heard it there, folks. That was Haven, episode 19. Cannibals eating their friends. Poor Nate.
Yeah, poor Nate and poor Emma. Emma's about to be roasted alive, I think. And at least Cole got an arrow through the heart, so he didn't have to die.
Yep.
The worst way. He's probably going to get cooked. but
they're all getting cooked except for Haven.
Yeah. And there it is.
All right. Thanks for tuning in, folks. We will talk next week with episode 20.
That's right. The big 2-1.
Talk to you then.
Peace.